Well, Al-Hamdani is an independent Yemen analyst and president of the Yemen Cultural Institute for Heritage and Arts. She's also a non-resident scholar at the Middle East Institute and joins us from Washington, D.C. So as we were hearing, the Saudis have called for a ceasefire, but has the fighting perhaps gone beyond that point now? Will the separatists want to negotiate or even back down if they are making territorial gains in Aden?
Yes, so the coalition represented by Saudi Arabia had issued a warning about stopping all kinds of clashing after 1 a.m., which is in effect as we speak. And so the point of that is to stabilize the situation in Aden, because as you mentioned, at any point looting and an eruption of violence could occur. However, it's very clear that the Southern Transitional Council has gained a lot of territory today. Some people have said that they've succeeded in capturing the city of Aden. However, my sources have told me that there are particular talks taking place in Saudi Arabia that point towards a possible upcoming deal between the Yemeni government and the Southern Transitional Council. And it seems that that's probably the way that they're going to go.
So does it look as though this call for a ceasefire is likely to work if the Saudis do use force against anyone that they perceive to have violated it? Could that lead to an intensification of the violence and the fighting?
I think that's particularly one way to look at it. Another way of looking at it is that they're giving the Southern Transitional Council an opportunity to prove that they can contain the violence in Yemen and an opportunity to show that they can keep the city safe. And if they can manage to do that tonight, then there is a really strong potential for them to come really strong at the negotiating table and to present themselves as a partner in governance, which is particularly the Southern Transitional Council's objective, is to have more representation in government, as they have not issued any statement that were directly against the government, but rather against the security of the city of Aden and also against the lack of representation in their own city. And so I think that while it may look like a warning, I think it's really an opportunity for the Southern Transitional Council to show that they have the city under control, or rather a test to see if the Southern Transitional Council can maintain security and peace in Aden.
And if and when they are able to reach a stage where they can re-establish what was already quite a shaky, fragmented alliance, because the whole idea was that it was an anti-Houthi coalition, but we know that the separatists have their own agenda, their own grievances. Ultimately, they want an independent South. So even if they are able to overcome this flare-up in fighting, will we just see the same thing happen again further down the line?
So the past years have proven to be really bad and shaky for Yemen, like you mentioned. The Arab coalition is not really happy with what's taken place there. And so this could potentially be an opportunity to change the direction of where the war has gone, which is kind of a stalemate, and an opportunity for the Arab coalition to also kind of reassign their alliances and to assess the dynamics in Yemen through a different way. And so I think if there is a deal moving forward, the government is not going to look the way that it looks now. As a matter of fact, it seems that the Yemeni government, in its statements against what's happening right now in Yemen and Aden, it seems that the government is not exactly in communication from within. And so different bodies of the Yemeni government are not really saying the same thing, which is really risky. And so I think moving forward, the peace deal is not going to continue in the same vein of what's happened already in Yemen. I think it's going to change things up, potentially be an opportunity to create a presidential council in Yemen and to kind of look back at what's happening there. I highly doubt that the Saudi and Emirati coalition are going to disagree over what's happening in Aden, and they're not going to change their interest in Yemen because they've invested so much in this war.
Thank you very much, Al-Hamdani, joining us there from Washington. I appreciate your thoughts on the story.